Hello and welcome. Tonight, here we have Recon 5 versus Element 5 in a series of two best of ones back-to-back. I'm your play-by-play caster, Z.
And I'm your color caster, Rebel Fox, for the night.
And we are hot into the pickin' bands with Kiana, Irelia, Talia, and Zach already coming right out of the gates, as well as a Nidalee.
Yeah, tons of comfort taken away already. Kiana, Nidalee, all famous champions for Recon 5, and of course Talia, Zach, both comfort champions of Deshaun on the side of Element 5.
I'm curious to see how these two teams are really looking to play this one out when it comes to win conditions, because we've seen a lot of consistency in the meta right now, and those comfort picks have now been taken away. So of course you're going to see stuff like the Xayah come out. In response, we may see stuff like Kai'Sa or Caitlyn, yeah. Morgana. They're looking to opt for the Pantheon. Definitely a high priority pick right now, currently in the situation.
Yeah, that is. I would expect Morgana also to be taken away here unless they want to give over Caitlyn Morgana, which is something I don't think there's a great response to with the like of Xayah so far. So it's also not terrible in a Pantheon. You can prevent that stun from coming through. It's not a terrible bot lane matchup here. They also have preference pick if they want something good into this Pantheon. They're looking at Recon right now.
Yeah, I do think they're going to go with the Recon. Getting that double in the bot lane is always good to go with. So, surprised Recon 5 let it go, but it doesn't seem like they're really afraid to play against it anyways. So, not too surprised. I'm curious to see where this Pantheon's going to go. It definitely can be flex, top, mid, jungle. You know, it's a lot of movement for Recon 5. So, this kind of third pick for Element just is going to be kind of out there. So, I assume it's going to be...
No. Yeah.
So, they go with Malphite. Yeah, pretty little boy.
Yeah, nice little anniversary skin for him.
Anniversary skins. We got two of them here now. Morgana as well, like you said. Good prediction out there. Malphite been seeing a lot of play recently due to the changes on his W going with the cleave. So he has actually been a lot stronger now in terms of team fight play around. And so I'm actually curious to see how he's going to match up. I do think Recon 5 isn't going to be sending Pantheon up in that lane. But other than that, we do see Jarvan 4 come out as the next ban.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me actually to see Malphite go into this jungle position either, because I know that's something that Bishan also likes to play. It's good into the Pantheon, I'm not saying that, but it's certainly a flex pick at this point in the draft. Recon 5's also got a lot for going for them. Caitlyn Morgana coupled with the Pantheon is a super strong set of not only champions, but also just really good in the meta right now too. So we see responses. Jarvan's taken away, Yasuo's taken away, so that's a nice little pair with the Malphite that they're kind of nodding their heads to. Mordekaiser taken away, wanting to ban out some of these top laners for Tanzo.
Aatrox's going to be picked out as well. Definitely looking to limit the realm of Tanzo here. They're going to be running Elise in the jungle, complete for Moody there.
Yeah, already a mean composition from Recon 5. Nice little dive potential also with Pantheon on Elise. You can reset the aggro on Elise's the block tower shots with that E from Pantheon as well. So very easy dive onto whoever they put into the top lane. I'd expect them to put something who's a little self-sufficient or has some wave clear to make sure he's not stuck there, or they're not stuck there. Kali's the hover right now.
Kali going to be locked in. Definitely could be flexed. Could go mid or top here for Element, but we're going to see a confirmed pick here in the next 20 seconds. I am curious to see how that one is going to be playing out. Kali definitely has a lot of roam potential at certain points in the game. Other than that, though, not quite sure what we'll be seeing here in the top lane. Like you said, looking for sustain. Kali definitely brings it to the table, but the natural tanky stats of Ornn definitely are going to be working in the favor for Element 5 here. So not going to be quite the easy dive for Pantheon Elise, especially as the game continues to go on.
Yeah, no, it won't. I'm glad to see they take something like this. Okay, Sylas taken away on the other side. It's a lot of mobility, a lot of good ultimates you can steal with Malphite or an ultimate on the board as well as Akali, and good at least shutting out that Akali in the mid lane to prevent some of that magic damage from coming through. That's close of both compositions here.
You know, a lot of AP damage coming out from the side of Recon 5.
It's actually a lot from Element 5 as well. You have the Akali and the Malphite. Again, I would expect this to be a Malphite jungle now, especially with the Ornn locked in. So that's most likely going to be a full AP Malphite on top of an Akali. And then the only other damage source you have is the Xayah. So you can do quite a bit of work just having the Sylas on the team with all this magic damage on the top side of the map.
Other than that, looking at other general matchups here on the side here, we got Xayah Recon versus Morgana Caitlyn. I know we just touched on it a little bit, but I do think this lane. You lose out on a lot of pressure if you're Recon 5. You don't quite have as much maneuverability, especially since Recon can be such a safe pick and can be such a good protector for everyone as a whole on this team, leading out of laning phase. Other than that, Xayah's Featherstorm can be such a defensive tactic. So I do think Caitlyn Morgana can get the acquired picks, whether it be through the trap or the Dark Binding, but other than that, they are kind of playing to see if they can get to that mid phase where they look for more of that poke siege and Morgana gets better lockdown.
Yeah, I like the Caitlyn Morgana pre-6 from them. Xayah Recon, obviously, at level 6, they have plenty of escapability, plenty of survivability, but Caitlyn Morgana pre-5 or pre-6 has all those tools that you described to be able to combo into one of these champions. Xayah Recon also relatively squishy to start the game off. You get a little bit better as the game goes on with the Recon and the Xayah specifically, but like Caitlyn Morgana in the early stages of the game is a lot of pressure to put on, especially with the likes of Elise that's potential to come down there, or a Pantheon ultimate that can collapse on you.
Even then, a Sylas roam can definitely change the pace of the game, especially with stolen ultimates. You have to remember now that Rakan's ultimate, Xayah's, Ornn's, they're all on the field for potential team fight turnaround here. So it wouldn't be surprising to see something like the quickness come out and suddenly you've turned Element 5 kind of in a tizzy. But to counter that, you definitely have a lot of disengage. Like you said, from Element 5, it's not just within Xayah Recon. Malphite makes a good disengage just in case of his offensive capabilities with the Unstoppable Force. He really shuts down any potential movement. Other than that, Akali's Shroud and Ornn's Oran Horn definitely are something that can really disrupt the flow of the field. So I am curious to see how Element 5 will play into these team fights if they're looking to do so. I definitely think they're looking to pull a lead a little bit earlier and then kind of pair into a nice mid game when they look for those kind of 5v5 maybe objectives or general control across the map. Recon 5, I definitely do think are looking for a bit more of a siege and lockdown with the picks. Like you said, they've got good dive potential even with that Sylas now locked in. So I definitely think they're kind of more single targeted. Not to say that they don't have good team fight potential. They definitely have something that's very good. But I do think they're a bit more varied when it comes to that kind of concept.
I am a little bit afraid for the Xayah in this composition. You have a lot of these divers here, so Malphite, Kali, and even like the Recon can get into the back line very quickly. Ornn can throw the ultimate in to support that fight as well. But Xayah, if she is doing what she should be doing, is probably going to be the primary damage source for this team. And if Xayah is not close enough to the fight to start with, you got to get her to the fight before any extra damage can come in. And then the question is like, can Sylas or Elise or Pantheon jump onto this team? The other thing is like, even with a Malphite engage or an Ornn engage or like an Akali engage into the backline, is Sindelian pressured enough with this Morgana Black Shield to actually have to worry about any of these divers killing her before her like divers do the exact same thing to the Xayah? I think that's something to watch as well, is like the early game of Elise, the early game of Pantheon, these people that can go threaten the Xayah. If they're ahead, this team fight becomes a lot harder to execute if you're on the side of Element 5, but if they're behind, you have more space to work with Xayah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a lot of timing management when it comes to all of these champions across the board. They have such wide abilities that change the flow of the game. You're going to have to be really looking to pull out what you can. Like you said with Xayah, it's going to be kind of that teeter-totter of when the Featherstorm is going to be really apparent or where she's going to be being able to play into safety when you're looking across whether it be objective or team fight control. So they've got all these individual champion windows, whether you're in the mid lane waiting for Akali's Shroud to go down or just hovering around the Malphite because you know Unstoppable Forces.
Yeah, that is the case. I appreciate also that like there's plenty of dive potential, and as you said, there's a lot of like siege potential on this team. They have the fantastic mid fight with how they've designed it. So they have Sylas chains, they have Pantheon W, they have Elise Cocoon, they have even like Caitlyn traps, Morgana binding. All these ways to stop these champions from cheating up into the fight. They have to make a really good engage from further back, or use something like a flash or a flank angle to actually get in on top of this Recon 5 team, because otherwise you have to run through this entire flurry of hard CC that can come through from this team that they're really wanting you to have to run through. It's like they can draw a trench line and you have to either cross the trench line or go around it on the side of Element 5 just to get a decent engagement in for a team fight.
Yeah, definitely something you're going to be looking out for. I will say the engages are definitely on the mindset of both of these teams. As you can see, pulling through their summoners. We've got 4 Ignites roaming here, also in the mid lane, opting against that. Of course, we got some aggression with these picks as a whole, so not too surprising to see it come through, but the only teleports on the map are going to be opted through Tanzo and Miracle, respectively. So definitely going to be looking to see some harsh engages across the map no matter what here. No one's really looking to play this one out safely.
Yeah, and that teleport that you talked about before, the one-on-one teleport versus the Ornn, is beneficial for Pantheon because of that global ultimate that he has. The ability to move around the map with it is going to be huge, especially even if Ornn is stalling this lane out. One of the better ways that Pantheon can take advantage of the lane in that case is to go somewhere else. Find the Akali, find the AP Malphite, find one of these champions that's a little more squishy and put pressure on them instead of just banging his head against this Ornn the entire game. And with teleport, he's not going to get punished nearly as much as Ornn will. So he can ult into a fight, force out Ornn's TP, or just TP himself, and then ult back to lane if he needs to. There's a lot of ways that Tanzo can play this out to make sure he doesn't get punished as much by the tank Ornn stalling out top lane.
Yeah, definitely some movement that we're going to be seeing across the map. I don't just think Pantheon's going to be our only pull through on that one. I definitely think both these teams are really looking to make the movement, get some pacing, and go for the win condition of their own respective teams here. It's going to be a lot of looking for those specific and respective picks. You're not really going to be looking to stave it one off.
Yeah, should be a really good game between two teams. They both set up at least some team fight. You could have some pick potential with Morgana, at least with the Pantheon, but I expect to see some bigger fights in this one with the Malphite, with the Ornn setup, and then with like the Sylas being able to steal all these cool ultimates. I want to see one of these bigger fights play out.
Yeah, definitely we're going to be looking out for it. This is the first game of 2 here tonight of Element 5 versus Recon 5, but with that, we will be getting to a short spectator delay as we get through these next few minutes as we're loading in. So please stay with us as we go through that transition. All right, welcome back. Getting into game 1 of Recon 5 versus Element 5, respectively. Seeing which of these two teams are going to be playing it out aggressively. I do see 5-man start here, almost from Recon 5, maybe. I do seeing potential move by Tanzo here onto the bot side jungle. So they definitely are looking for something to go in with.
Yeah, what they might do is this kind of weird bottom side invade where they only use 2 or 3 members instead of using the entire roster. So it's a little harder for them to spot out. I don't know that they've actually seen it yet. They're going to right now.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know that they got a view of Tanzo at any point, but they know where Tilted is at this point.
Other than that, we should be seeing a bit of the vision trade coming over from Element 5, respectively, making their way into this red side. Other than that, we do have Moody and everyone else, all 5, just kind of positioned on the red side of the map here for Element 5. looking to make their way in, just kind of teasing the waters, not quite sure who's where.
Yeah, a little bit of a late here. They're not going to find anything with it because the bot lane's already down. But I don't know that they know that this invade has happened yet, so there's no punishment coming out. They do have 2 deep wards on the red side jungle on the side of Recon 5, but Malphite's actually opting for his blue. I don't know that he knows that he's just going to be starting against this Elise who's going for his own red buff. It's a nice start for Moody if he's able to actually pull this off.
Yeah, Moody opting to pull the red buff for himself. I'm curious to see if Bishan is going to be able to pull the kind of concept here and make his way over. Tanzo's checking it out, clearing, making sure. So I am curious to see the movement.
Yeah.
He may bring it down. If he does, he's going to be losing out on a lot of potential here. Now, he does just have to make the potential ganks, and he'll be able to come back pretty quickly. But I will say, Moody's also picking off Krugs there.
Yeah, so the issue here, I'm not sure why, but they saw the Caitlyn and the Morgana come through the tri-brush when they walked back through the jungle. They have to know that the Elise is on, or at least started towards the red side. They can't just assume that they walked out for no reason.
Seeing pings coming out on the red side here for Moody's team, Recon 5, but Bishan going to find out pretty quickly that his buffs have been taken out here, so we're going to see a bit of a level lead on Moody here. Potential ganks coming in from Elise a little bit earlier than expected, probably.
Yeah, the one thing is like both scuttles will be up, and it's possible that Bishan can get priority on both of those. It might kind of give back some of this experience loss that he's had so far, but it's still going to be difficult. Moody can get very greedy here. It kind of looks like a back's coming out for Malphite, so if he's fast enough, he might be able to get a full clear on his jungle before any more punishment comes through. And actually, yeah, the back from Malphite's going to cause this Rift Scuttler to actually go the way of Elise as well. I think that Moody pretty much got away with theft here.
Yeah, he run clear. He's taken it to the bank, and he has invested all of that gold. He definitely knows that he's completely won the jungle trade here early. I am curious to see now how he's going to make the move. These lanes are definitely looking to fight it out, as we just saw between Tilted and Trigger there. I'm curious to see where the first gank is going to come through, though. Moody definitely has potential. He definitely should start making the move.
Yeah, Tilted has a little bit of priority in this wave.
Trigger using that Shroud. Ignite actually comes through. Moody positioning up here on the top side. Cocoon not quite there to hit on a Kali. She's taken really, really low. Gonna have to see a back coming out there now.
Yeah, Malphite was able to, I think he was able to sneak this Rift Scuttler ahead of time. I'm actually not sure. No, he didn't. He didn't get the Rift Scuttler, so at least he's going to be able to walk topside and get that, as well as her entire topside set of camps, while basically nothing was achieved by Malphite during this time, so...
Ooh, Pelican's getting a good knock-up on Sindillion here. We're going to see the E come out. Ignite goes down as well. Big shields coming out to protect some of that damage there. Good trade for Nicholas White here in the bot lane, though. Element 5 looking pretty good.
Yeah. Flash burnt here from Sindillion, so they can't get aggressive onto him, but Phoenix Aura still has that black shield, so we're probably going to need at least more than one person to engage into this Caitlyn before anything big happens. Still nice little burn off for this Recon to be able to get that Ignite, or to get the flash away.
Yeah, going to see some movement here within the next 5 minutes. Possibly a gank by Moody. Like we said, he is ahead in that jungle, so going to be seeing that rotation probably soon if need be. Other than that here, ooh, Clap comes out from Miracle. Is he going to be looking for the knock-up? Not quite. Yep, there it comes through. Tanzo looking to fight this one out. Miracle's actually quite low here. We're going to see the Q stun comes down, charging up his passive. Tanzo going to get that 5th stack here. Big Q comes through, and that's going to be a first blood from Tanzo. I got to say, a little bit of disrespect from Miracle to think he could really take that fight there.
Yeah, he was just consistently able to get a lot of damage.
Dark Binding from Phoenix R. We're going to see a big root and trap there from Pelican's. Shield comes up. Phoenix R uses the flash to dodge the knockup. Root comes down on Sindillion. He's trying to make the escape here. Going to use heal to save himself. Nicholas White not able to follow this one up.
Yeah, a little bit of over-aggression now on the Ornn, and then even here onto the Recon. Getting rooted up, trapped is just basically a death sentence no matter what. He did try to get a trade kill back on his Sindillion, but with heal up, there's nothing much to do. See what's going on.
Yeah, I like how you brought before the game the pre-6 movement between Sindillion and Phoenix R. That's kind of their best chance up against Nicholas White and Pelicans here on the Xayah and Recon respectively. Pre-ulti, they don't have that disengage that we discussed, whether it be through Featherstorm or just the peel coming out of Recon. So
and there's the bind.
Good window.
Yeah, nice little find. The shield does keep him alive for a little bit, but the Ignite's just enough to tick down, and no response there because of the heal from Sindillion.
Ooh,
Now he made it.
Moody. But we're going to see Tilted steal the ultimate from Trigger. Ooh, good knock up on Moody here from Pelicans. Tilted goes forward, misses the chain. Trigger goes back in, going to be pumping out some damage here. We're going to see perfect execution from both Silas and Akali here. So we're going to get out of this one, but just a little bit of aggression here. Nothing quite gained from either team, though.
Yeah, more bullying coming out of Moody, taking camps that he basically feels like he needs to take at any point. He's just been dominating Bishan in terms of farm at the moment. Malphite really looking to get 6 so he can actually come into these lanes and hit them with a gank as hard as he needs to, but unfortunately just hasn't had the chance to farm up nearly as well as you might want.
Ooh, Moody is playing very deep right now. Gonna stun out Pelicans here. Potentially looking to make a move here on the mid lane, or even possibly Bishan. He knows where he's located at.
Yeah, he knows that there's an invade that's potential here. And with priority in the mid lane and the Akali, or top lane and the mid lane backing right now, yeah, Akali's now gone, so at least can look top or into this jungle to try to invade onto this Malphite. And there's nothing Bishan can do, so he should just run him down.
Ooh, Spider coming out here, burst onto the blue. Bishan is gonna be picking this one, but Cocoon comes down as well. Smite. Moody picks up an easy kill on this Malphite.
Yeah, in the brush, no vision had there from Bishan to know when the Cocoon was going to come out. And he had Flash available. He should have just flashed away over the wall, but I'm guessing didn't want to burn that. Instead, just wanted to opt to see if he could dodge it. It just did not work out. So just killed his blue buff gone now as well.
Ooh, the damage going back and forth here between the mid laners, but I would like to look at Moody here, just positioning it out. Miracle definitely knows his positioning. We're also seeing Tilted make his roam upwards. Potential dive about to come out here from the side of Recon 5. Miracle doesn't really have anything he can do here. Minion wave is here. Moody, Tanza goes in with the stun. We're going to see the Ornhode stolen. Moody picks up the kill before the Ram can even get there.
Yeah. And a nice execution of what I said was an amazing setup for the tower dive. Again, Pantheon, at least you have a way to reset the wave, and you have ways to block tower shots to make sure no one really image. You can see that actually executed. Tilted comes up. The Spider gets thrown out here just to kind of bait him out and let him know he's there. And there's no play to be made because Tilted has priority on mid lane after the back of Kali. So you're going to see this here. Pantheon goes in first. You could have gone with Elise first, probably. A little bit better execution. But then you'll see the E at the end will block at least one, I think 2 tower shots. And nobody else has to tank tower at all.
Yeah, definitely a really easy, well-planned gank, especially playing off a lot of the priority of Recon 5, like you said. So I have to say Moody has really driven this game into the hole here when it comes to just the general aggression style of Recon 5. He's completely wiped Bishan off the map here, and there's nothing really they can respond when it comes to making that potential ganks.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tilted gonna get the chain on top of Ishan here. Seeing the movement, Ace in the hole comes out. Shield just barely brings Bishan low. Ignite is ticking down. He's taking incredibly low. Tilted's gonna be picking up that kill, as well as Pelicans going down from a movement from Tanzo deep here. Now they got free reign over the south. That's all 5 members of Recon 5 bot now.
Yeah, they have complete control around the central, middle of the map. All those wards in that river means that there's no wards pushed up for vision on any of these members. So you see Elise and Tilted go out for a very early roam there, coupled with Tanzo kind of cheating towards the bottom side of the map. Doesn't have to worry about Warren taking his tower in response. You see already, not even 2 tower plates taken yet in response, and he is on his way back. Really, really nice setup from the side of Recon 5. And actually, I don't think they expected Bishan to be there, but Bishan ended up being kind of like a last-second grab for them, and Ocean Break now.
Ooh, definitely stacking pretty hard in the favor of Recon 5 at 10 minutes here, sitting with a nice, hefty, almost 5,000 gold lead for themselves. And you've completely wiped a lot of these potential carries and movements off of the face here because you've had such great movement like we talked about from Moody.
Yeah, that is the case. Again, it's the perfect setup that you want. You want Moody to be able to kind of free reign, run around the map early to make the decisions he wants. And while the farm lead is at least a little bit more equalized now after a little while in this game, only about 1 camp, now no camps for Moody, he has turned it into a ridiculous amount of pressure, forcing Bishan to power farm just to make sure he gets his level 6 ahead of time. And still no real fights actually come out of Bishan. He has no mana here to fight if Tanzo wants something.
Speaking of Moody, maybe looking to make his way in the bot lane, we're going to see the Cocoon on top of Pelicans here. Stun comes down, tries to use the quickness, but it's not going to be enough to get him out of there. Moody now on a rampage here in the bot lane.
Tilted's here too.
Yeah, Tilted possibly looking in this back line. We're going to see the stolen ultimate from Nicholas. Stun knocked up, Shane comes through. Nicholas doesn't even have a chance to make the escape. gosh, Recon 5 looking really dominant right now.
Yeah, and with Caitlyn down here and the wave pushing up, this is a free tower, first tower of the game, and another plate onto this. Moody should share in this gold at least a little bit as well, so really nice rotations out from Recon 5, commanding every single lane, commanding the entire jungle all over the map.
Ooh, Tanzo taking quite a nice trade up here against Miracle, just constantly pumping up that Q damage. Not quite going to be able to pick it off. Ooh, the Ornhorn comes out. Ooh, misses the knockup, just whiffs it. Trigger's now up here, but Pantheon is really easy to get out there with the Yomus.
Yeah, not to mention the Ocean Drake means he really didn't have a worry. He's been able to sustain through a fair amount of the training that Ornn can bring back, and now he probably, he does actually leave because he has TP back up, but he wouldn't have had to leave in the normal circumstance because he just didn't have anything left.
Vishon getting root, chain comes through from Tilted, and he is just dead. Trigger can't even get in there quick enough.
Yeah, nice little play. Again, these Morgana bindings, these chains from Sylas, all these pick tools are just being used to absolute perfection from the side of Recon 5 to set up plays constantly on Elements. Element, they're playing like they're 3 individual lanes and an individual jungler. They're not talking to each other. They're not communicating with one another what's going on around the map, and it just feels like they're being completely choked off from any information or anything that could help them win this game.
Utanza going deep on top of Nicholas White here. We're going to see that stun come out. Q as well. Root comes through from Nicholas White. Good movement for the disengage there.
Yeah, really, really impressive from there. Nicholas White's going to stay. Tanzo's going to be down in that bot lane. He should still have priority even with the Recon around. And with this Rift Herald, they could throw it down in either mid or top lane now. Probably push for a tower.
Ooh, we're going to see the quickness coming out from Pelican's going to get the knockup and charm on to Tanzo. He's taking incredibly low. Nicholas White looking to come after him with the Ignite. We're going to see Yomu's come out. We see Featherstorm. That's going to be the shutdown. First kill of the game for Element 5, but not before we see the trade now. Rift Herald up in this top side with 2 plates up. That's going to be max damage, and that's going to be another turret for the side of Recon 5. Ooh, Cocoon on top of Ornn. Unstoppable. Miracle taking incredibly low. We see Ace in the hole coming out. He flashes under turret. It's not going to be enough damage. Moody backs out of that one before he goes down. Ooh, Trigger here going to get dark binded right by the blue buff. Organa backs off, not quite looking to take that fight.
Yeah, again, Recon 5 just flexing all over the map. They saw that there's going to be rotation of their bot lane on the bot side, especially once Tanzu goes down. So they say, okay, we're fearless. All we got to do is drop Rift Herald in the top lane and we'll be perfectly fine. They pick up another plate and another tower here early for this Caitlyn to continue to accrue gold. They almost get a nice little kill onto Miracle as well, but he is fortunately tanky enough to not go down there. It's just control all over the place. Wards need to be cleared out. That's what E5 is doing right now. They need to get the information back on their side of the jungle.
Yeah, and it's a little difficult, though. I know Vision's going to be playing a key factor into that concept, but when you don't have a very strong lead in your jungle, Vishon is 2 level down in comparison to Moody, and when it comes to wave and map pressure, he has had a 0% kill participation, of course. But now with a 7,000 gold lead for Recon 5, it's a bit dire. Need to see a bit more movement, less reactive, playing a bit more proactive from the side of Element 5 here. Vishon just trying to farm his way back into it, but when you're in AP Malphite, I have to say, it's basically 20 minutes or bust. You simply become a single target wipeout, and not even that when you have such good shielding from something like Phoenix Aura.
Yeah, you do have some capability of fighting back in terms of team fights, because if Ornn is able to layer CC alongside this Malphite, you might have the opportunity to set up some Xayah feathers pretty well and just get a little bit back in terms of that. But it is still going to be risky. As long as Recon 5 plays together in most of these fights, they probably won't lose excessive amounts. They might lose a champion here or there while going for some of these objectives, but they're probably not going to lose their whole team. And once they start doing neutral objectives here alongside this advantage they already have, it's going to be almost impossible to come back from.
Ooh, Tilted getting the chain on to Trigger here. The Shroud comes out. He uses the E to get back here. Perfect execution can be stolen by Sylas. Ooh, look at the potential roam here from Element 5. Q comes out from Tanzo. He's got full passive stack. We're going to see Unstoppable come out. The damage is just absurd. Ornn going to be picking that one up with a simple auto. All ultimates used from the side there of Element 5, though, just for Tanza.
Yeah, as much as possible, they need to find more picks like this. It was a nice little flank there from Vishon to be able to get onto him, but Dragon lost, and now mid tower actually being pushed away, and this is a siege composition. You have the Caitlyn, you have the Morgana. You can't really walk into this if you're Nicholas White, so they're just going to lose this tower, and probably some pressure onto the next one. They have no Malphite ultimate to work with, and they got to walk all the way around so as not to get punished here, and Tilted's still winning the side lane as well. Like, it's a nice kill onto Tanzo, but you've given up so much map pressure just to, receive that little bit of gold.
Yeah, Recon 5 now playing pretty aggressively, like you said, onto the second tier turret here in the mid lane. And look at that, they're also going to be picking that one up. And like you said, Miracle wastes his ult, Bashan wastes his ult, Pelicans wastes ult. Yes, they picked up Tanzo, but when it comes to the map pressure you need in these potential team fights once you start getting out of laning phase, which is very obviously the case now, you just don't have the tools to make the proper decisions anymore at that point.
No, you don't. Yeah, having to use 3 of your best teamfight ultimates just to pick off 1 member on the top side of the map is never going to be worth it. It doesn't matter if you get a shutdown or a kill onto Tanzo or any Fed member. Honestly, if you're using all 3 of those in tandem to kill 1 person, it's never going to be worth it. You have to be more careful with what cooldowns you use. I don't know that they needed both Recon ultimate and Bashan ultimate there, or even the Ornn ultimate. I'm not sure that was necessary either. They only needed really the 1 CC move to make sure he didn't get away.
And with that, you have to wonder, where's kind of the playmaking, decisions coming through here from when it comes to Element 5? You discussed it a little bit earlier. It feels like you've got 3 solo lanes and the 1 jungler, and no one's really communicating with each other. You don't have this management of timings. You don't have these windows. We talked about it before the game. You have such big ultimates here, and it's all going to be about that managing the timing and cooldowns when those windows are open, and you have the opportunity to go in. And when you have something like Element 5 just throwing it out for that single kill, suddenly you have a big pace for yourself.
Yeah. The one thing is they did layer those ultimates relatively well together, so my hope is that if they're able to execute it in a pure 5-on-5 teamfight, they can at least be competitive or go even and make sure like a neutral objective gets shut down, something like a Baron. But right now, I mean, look at what you've got on the bottom side of the map. This is ridiculous amount of vision and safety for Tanzo down here. There's 4 control wards in this bottom side jungle here.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's not even Element 5's jungle anymore with all that vision spread out across. Pelicans making his way in to try to clear it as much as he could, but when you have kind of the roaming, Morgana and Tanzo, can't really get in there. Ooh, Trigger gonna be stunned out by Moody with the Concood. Tilted goes in here. Shroud is up, using the E to get out here. Ace in the hole is coming through. Sindillion picks up that kill from afar.
Yeah. Nice little attempted outplay from Trigger right there. He had Flash as well, so if there was no Caitlyn ultimate, I think he could have gotten out of that situation. It was looking pretty rough for him. He was probably going to die pretty much no matter what, but a nice
up from Ornn here on Tanzo. I thought Pelicans might have wanted to go in on that one, but not quite.
Yeah. Not quite. And a siege around this top side of the map means without Recon or Ornn or their ultimate...
Tilted goes deep onto Nicholas White. We're going to see the Ignite. Featherstorm comes through, but it's a good Zhonya's from Tilted. Root comes down to get a double onto Moody and him. We're going to see the knockup from Bashan. He's going to get the kill onto Malphite, but not before Tilted gets the return here. He's spelling, but Nicholas White picks up that kill. Ornhorn coming in now. Going to get the knockup on Sindillion while he's running away. Phoenix Star coming through with the ultimate bindings as Ignite comes through. We're going to see the W. Good disengage from Recon 5, but not before losing 2 members of their team.
And that is the case.
Nicholas flashes.
Really?
Not quite able to pick that one up.
Yeah, you actually still have
wow!
chasing down Sindillion as well. This is terrifying. And a TP is going to actually come in from the Pantheon from behind. This could be a turn team fight.
Ooh, Sindillion making his way out. He's got the red buff now. We're going to see the knockup from Miracle. Double knockup with Pelicans. Ace and comes out. Pelican's going to tank that one out. Tanzo flashes over the wall. Dark Binding going to be hitting onto the Ornn. Sindillion steps forward into this bush. Root comes through. We're going to see Grand Starfall pressuring Nicholas and Pelicans. Channel comes through. Tanzo taking well. Clap comes down. Spell immune from Phoenix Star to save the day. Trigger now in this backline. Flashes forward. Amazing Zhonya's from Trigger. Ooh, Phoenix Star is able to just barely get it, but Bishon picks that one up. Sindillion goes over the wall with the E, but not before Moody's in this backline. Now we see Bishon turn and get a triple kill here, but not before Tilted finally picks up the return. That's going to be a 4 for 4 here. Or, I'm sorry, a 3 for 4.
Yeah, let's see how far back we can go on this replay to start discussing this. It was the Grand Starfall to come in here, so it's a weird decision from Tanzo. I think if he goes for the Xayah, he might actually get better results. Instead, opts for the Recon to kill here. This Ornn's very tanky, and Akali is doing quite a bit of damage on the backline, but super good job. Caitlyn continues to auto-attack, continues to put damage out, and here comes Elise to save the rest of the day. Now, Sindillion does end up going down to this full AP Malphite, but they chase him down at the end. It's kind of a one fight for Recon 5. Overall, they did overcommit to that initial tower push, and they overextended, causing them to lose. At least, I think over the course of the fight, it ended up being a 4 for 4 or a 5 for 4 in favor of Element 5. But you see the kind of decisiveness they have to call back this fight and make sure they come back and try to get more off the back end of it.
So funny enough, Recon 5 came out on top of that, taking 4 members of Element 5 for 3, and all 3 members Element 5 took there all ended up on Bashan on this Malphite, fun fact. He went from 1-5-2 to 4-5-2.
Yeah, that's a nice situation to be in.
Ooh.
You know, yeah,
sorry. Yeah, no, but something I don't like to see here, Miracle on this Orin has pushed all those Orin items are going on himself, and usually Orin has that kind of passive, and you can spread the wealth around your team here, give kind of that stat advantage, but opting here with the levels, he pushes them on himself.
I don't actually know that there's anything he can upgrade yet, other than his.
There isn't.
Yeah, Gunblade.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, once Infinity Edge is done, Zaya will have an upgraded Infinity Edge the second she builds it. But yeah, like there's no upgradable item quite yet. I'd expect Zonius to come out on Malphite. It's a really nice item for him because the armor gives him extra damage alongside the rest of his kit. But other than that, yeah, it's gonna be difficult to build items until maybe like Rabadons for the Akali. Falcon. Not sure.
Yeah, other than that, though, team's kind of slowing down here, just looking to pace it out. While we got a chance here, I do want to remind everyone here that at the ABL, our production team doesn't get to eat at night. And as a result, we asked our lovely, lovely patrons who enjoy watching our wonderful, wonderful stream if you can support us at any given time. And that can be through follows, subscriptions, or just general donations. And all of that money goes straight to the production team, not only so we can continue to eat and continue bringing you wonderful, wonderful podcasts, but also so we can just continue and keep living on and following our dreams of becoming great, great caster like Melky Cereal.
Goodness me, out of the tonight. That's pretty good. But we do see a really good Baron setup right here from the side of Recon 5. They have wards. Oh, look at the number of wards in this top side or the blue side jungle here for like this is unreal.
Let me tell you, Christmas has come early. Lit up like a tree over here.
That is, man, it is absolutely nuts. And they should have a relatively fast Baron, but again, you have to be terrified because they have to do this much, much quicker. Otherwise, this big team fight. Yeah, here's the Ornhorn coming out.
Now, Ornhorn coming out. Looking like Recon 5 is going to pick up, but not before we see Caitlyn picked up almost immediately. Bishon coming from the back line here. Moody taking incredibly low. We see the repel. Goes up in the air. Going to go back down on Bishon. Taking him out. Tanzo in this back line here. But he's taking incredibly low. Gets the kill on Pelicans. Double kill for Nicholas White. Respond a triple, actually. Looking good for him. Now we see Tilted go for the engage with the binding on top of Miracle here. He's taken pretty low. Unstoppable comes out. Not quite the cap. Knockup gonna miss as well. Currently coming out on top for Element 5 to pick up 3 members. All of that gold going straight on to Nicholas White here.
Yeah, and we'll see how much of this fight we can actually pick up in a replay if possible. But yeah, again, you don't want to cluster around the Baron if you can. Yeah, you see the Ornhorn came in here. This is quite the back end of it. At least just kind of opts for this kill instead, tries to get a trade kill. And then Tanzo with a really nice speed here gets a second kill off the back end of it. Zaya getting 3 kills is not at all what you would like to see in this fight, but they do walk away with the Baron in tow, so now they can start sieging up. And with a composition that likes to T-fight versus a composition that likes to siege, the siege comp will take Baron most of the time.
Yeah, Siege Comp definitely has bigger potential there, but definitely Recon 5 looking a little bit shaky. You see the team fight ultimates definitely starting to play out a bit more better for Element 5, and as a result, they're coming out on top a little bit nicer on some of these team fights, going from taking the kills finally in these team fights to now actually getting the numbers advantage. While they may not be picking up the objectives, they definitely are proving a name for themselves as they get into this mid-late game phase.
Yeah, actually, I want to point something out in terms of itemization. Sindelian, instead of having any other item in his inventory, had to opt for an immediate Hex Drinker just so he doesn't get burst out in one shot from Deshaun or from Trigger, honestly, when he goes onto the backline either. It's such a difficulty that he's not even able to build attack speed before that Magic Resist has to come through for him. I do want to see a little bit more priority on closing the game now, because again, this team fight's starting to show through as being the stronger of the two compositions, which is to be expected at this late in the game. So I want to see Recon 5 take this early advantage, take this Baron, and at least try to do some crippling damage to the base here, even if it requires losing all 5 members. Yeah,
definitely something that they'll have to start looking for. They do have the comp, like we talked, is scaled for it. They've got that siege potential, especially with the Caitlyn lined up. And in case you're looking for a pick, you definitely have Tanzo, Moody, and Tilted all at the ready But other than that, you are correct. It is a little bit of like a ticking time bomb here for the side of Recon 5. The team fight potential, like you said, of Element 5 is starting really to ramp up. You got almost 5 members of Element 5 here positioned on this top side, waiting for the engage from Recon 5 as this minion wave just kind of churns its way down here on the top side. I'd like to point out there that Tanzo is making the 1-4 split. He's got teleport up and can make the rotation if need be. I'm surprised. Oh, yeah, Oranhorn from Tilted here, putting the pressure on this backline, forcing Nicholas and Pelicans off the wave so they can get it. Seeing a full disengage from Recon 5 now.
Yeah, nice setup here. They forced Orn to walk up because they thought that the team fight would come through after the tower got busted, but instead they just buy time for Tanzo to push down this bottom lane tower, so they get 2 towers for only the 1 Silas ultimate. Really, really nice usage of that to bait out this Orn, force him away from this bottom lane, and now he has to pay respect to this Pantheon. He's got a double stacked wave here on the bottom side, ready to push under this tower. He can't really fight him all that well, so Pantheon only really has to take tower damage, and now you free up this team fight on the top side of the map with no Ornhorn to set up Malphite. So Malphite has to find a much better engage. It's a lot more transparent without Orn's the Orn ultimate now.
I will say though, without minion wave here, Recon 5 definitely going to look to opt out of this, not looking to really take it without that kind of pressure. Mountain Drake is up and they should be rotating towards that. They definitely have the priority over all 3 lanes currently rotating inwards right now, so I would not be surprised to see that one go off here in a few minutes.
Yeah, it should be pretty simple.
Or seconds.
Yeah. And Mountain Drake also super valuable for this team. Again, they need to take these neutral objectives far before the team fight can come through. Again, if you have a Malphite and an Ornn and a Kali throwing their ultimates on top of you when you're around these neutral objectives, you cannot do anything. You saw that in the last fight. They just lost outright immediately after the Baron was done. So having these Mountain Drakes means they can speed up their take of those things and risk the team fight a little bit less.
Yeah, definitely. Now seeing a bit of the reset coming out from all members of Recon 5, pushing their gold to limit here. Going to be picking up some items as the return after getting those 2 turrets here. We're going to see actually a completed Maw come out from Pantheon here.
Yeah, again, everybody's a little bit terrified of this Malphite at this point in the game. The Electrocute, coupled with what looks like, I assume it's going to be a Rabbit, it's going to be a Spellbinder too, so it's going to be
Moody
very...
as well, picking up a Banshee's Veil. So yeah, like you said, definitely some pressure on that AP damage here from Element 5. Everyone's looking for the resist. Ooh, Tilted. Stealing the ultimate from Trigger here. Going to be see the chain knock by hitting. We see the knockup from Bishan in this backline. Perfect execution over the wall, but a Q catches him out from Trigger. Good pick on that side there. Did not expect the damage to come out through and through from Bishan.
Yeah, and unfortunately, so the 1v1 was disrupted by the cheating move by Trigger, calling in his jungler and using that hidden summoner spell.
The cheating move.
Take 50% of the health off of Tilted there.
Of course, the assassin Malphite coming from the Fog of War. Definitely the cheating move here. But speaking of the Fog of War, Phoenix are coming out here on to Trigger here. Going to see the binding counting down from the ultimate Moody as well with the spiders. And Trigger just gets blown up. Now teleport coming through Oranhorn on this backside. Going to see a knock up onto Phoenix Or as well as another one as he gets hit into the wall. Now we see a charm from Pelicans going deep onto Moody here. Going to use the repel up in the air. We're going to see... Ooh, he has to flash to get out of that one. Tanza now looking for a bit of protection here onto the Elise. Oh, gonna see another knockup from Bishan. Moody taking incredibly low. Gonna see the W paired with it. Pelicans gets a knockup on it. Tanzo here. Gonna go down incredibly quick, but not before Dillian gets the return kill. Now, as Baron is back up, Element 5 is definitely more prepared in response here. But Tilted is in fact up and making his way down.
Yeah, this is actually kind of scary. I don't think that they have timed out Bishan's ultimate from Tilted, so I think Tilted can steal this Malphite ultimate. Ooh. Yeah, there's a terrified place.
Yeah, Tilted stealing that ultimate, gets a double kill in this backline. Now chasing out Miracle with Dylan here. We're seeing the E over the wall, unstoppable. Clap comes through, but it's not going to be enough. That's a triple kill for Tilted. And now Baron looks like it's going to be going in the favor of Recon now.
Yeah, really nice. Unless Akali had something to say about this, but I don't know that you can contest with the Morgana around with Sindillion trapping in this Baron. I think it's just too hard to do. Yeah, Tilted can also zone her away and just make sure she's nowhere near this fight. Caitlyn takes this super fast with 2 Mountain Drakes. Super well.
Double Mountain.
Yeah. Very well executed here from Recon 5, especially from Tilted, not giving up on this play, knowing that they're going to go for the Baron afterwards, and like calling their bluff and able to succeed on that.
Another thing I'd like to point out, the death timers all timed out pretty well for Recon 5. All 5 members of them are going to be having the Baron buff to their advantage. So if you want to see a split come through from something like Tanzo, who was dead a second ago, that's definitely a possibility. So running that 1-4-1 like we saw earlier is going to be a lot easier, and you're going to take a lot more movement from the side of Element 5 to get a response now.
Yeah, and you can argue even like a 1-3-1 is a really good option because that either A pulls away team fight from 2, so you have to have either Akali and Ornn just respond to the side lane, so all you've got is Malphite ultimate into this Morgana Black or my apologies, Black Shield. That's what I'm trying to say, not Dark Bind. Black Shield.
That's the ability.
Yeah, and then the Elise, of course, the Repel, able to prevent her from taking that damage, so then those two are available for the fight. Or you have to pull 4 into the mid lane to look for a fight, and then you lose one of your side lanes.
Other than that, we're seeing a bit of a reset come out from Recon 5 while the waves are just starting to barely creep their way in. This Baron buff going to be lasting here for another about almost 4 minutes here. Ooh, Phoenix Aura just kind of poking out these lanes, making sure they kind of die off here before a response from Element 5. Seeing Silas push out this top wave, actually going for the 1-3-1 split now.
Yeah, again, I think that's optimal in this particular situation. I don't know that Ornn has the wave clear to push off Pantheon in this side wave. And then, of course, Silas does really, really well into this Akali. He almost won the 1v1 were it not for that Malphite ultimate. But if Malphite leaves and opts for top lane, they lose their mid lane. You're seeing that now. They're getting pulled apart, and this teamfight just has no ability to commit.
Ornn ultimate coming out from Miracle here. Gets the knock-up on Moody, but that's not something you can really engage on. Speaking of engages, Tilted goes deep in the backline on the Featherstorm coming through from Nicholas White. Going to be using Tilted. Vishon misses and whips the ultimate. Now deep in this backline, Miracle gets the knock-up here from on this top of Zorn, but he's going to get absolutely bursted down with Tilted. Now Phoenix are positioning out with Tanzo. We're going to see Yomu's come up, knock-up coming through from Pelicans, get the shield on this backline. Tilted now making his impression on the trigger here. Going to see the chain miss as Turret does a lot of damage, but the waves are pushing in the mid lane as everyone is pushed off here. There's not a lot Element 5 can do. We're going to see Nicholas White step out. Caitlyn does so much damage. We're going to see the knockup miss as Pelicans and Nicholas White both go down. And now as Trigger's the only left standing, the chase ensues. They're making their way onto the fountain here. Tilted going to be taking a chunk of damage, but not before he picks this one up as well as the Nexus going down. In this best of 1, Recon 5 takes it all.
Yeah, and as predicted, that final team fight played out exactly how it was predicted in the beginning. You have divers, you have Vishon, you have Ornn trying to throw CC and damage into the backline of Sindelian, Phoenix Aura, but it wasn't enough to burst them out. And then you see Moody and Tanzo fighting up on the front line of that, pushing out Nicholas White and Pelicans. Really a lot of that consistent damage that can come out from the team. And then they kill this Malphite off, so that's a fair amount of damage gone from this team fight. The Ornn goes down eventually, and Akali just gets pushed out by this Silas pick, so they just win the team fight from separating it as best they can after the engage comes through from Malphite.
Yeah, definitely going to be seeing a change of pace here from Element 5. They need to get a better response out of jungle in the early game and maybe see a better play from Bishan as he scales up his team. But with that, we're going to go to a short break as we get everything organized for the second best of 1 between these two teams. So please stay tuned. Don't change that brow. All right, we are already back into the second game here of Recon 5 versus Element 5. As you can see, pick and bans have already taken off completely. Recon 5 banning out Talia, Zach, and that is, of course, the Cinder there. Element 5 going to be banning out the Kiana Morgana reactively from game 1 and Elise. And we're seeing the bot lane picks already pulled out. Xyz Leona versus Kai'Sa Nautilus.
Yeah, I love the Leona pick into Nautilus. I think it's a great counter in the laning phase, and there's a lot that you can do with the Xayah to make sure she's protected against the Kai'Sa, even in the event that she wants to dive onto her. So to me, Xayah Leona is just about as good as Recon Xayah is at the moment, especially in terms of the laning phase. It's just a little bit stronger than normal. Pantheon gets through again also.
Yeah, I'm surprised not banning that one out. He was really strong on Tanzo last game, absorbed a lot of pressure here. Element 5 now changing up the pace on Bashan here, not going to be putting him on the Malphite, I hope here. It's not been locked in yet, but if we do see Lee Sin come through, going to be seeing a bit more of those early engagements, which could be an improvement to the gameplay that we saw from game.
Yeah, Bishan got bullied out of his jungle early there, and then he had some impact in teamfights, had some really nice ultimates towards the end, but just was not able to come back from that early game deficit that he had. This is the polar opposite champion. Very single target oriented, very early game oriented, and AD by extension. So you can say pretty much the opposite of Malphite. Akali's Italy gone as well because Recon 5 has taken their jungler. Surprise, no priority on that Nidalee for Moody.
Yeah, you never want to let Moody pick up the Nidalee, or else you're going to have a bad time.
Bad time, yes.
Other than that, the Kali, like you said, and Silas all reactively banned out here. Recon 5 looking to finish it off with the Yasuo here. Definitely don't want to mix up with the knockups as well again. Also just kind of making sure that we don't see it go on a trigger here.
Yeah. Well, we don't see so far. Yeah, what we don't see so far is actually Aurelia ban taken away from Recon 5. We know both top lane and mid lane, they play that champion to a very high level. Rise taken. Gotta love that art for the anniversary right here from
Big brain and Rise coming through. I definitely think Rise is in a really good spot right now in the meta.
Yeah, his position, he doesn't really lose to a lot, but he's not demolishing everything, and he does scale late into a very powerful champion, but that strength is gated by those ultimates. I think they did take him to a much better balancing point than they did normally. I'd love to see what the response is from Recon 5, though, because I think there are picks that can at least bully it early or respond to it. Kale, gotta love this content, man. This anniversary art, too good.
So good. Yeah, Kale, another scaling pick to kind of manage against Element 5 here. Going to be moving in just kind of the same pace here on the same respective thing. Recon 5 looking for that burst going through up until 11 and 16, sorry, respectively. Definitely looking to play this one out. Kind of use the mitigated mid-game with Leona and Pantheon into the late with Xayah kill as well.
Wow. All right. Yeah, the Ezreal pickup here towards the end of the draft. I want to make sure that that's actually Ezreal. Yeah, I think that is Ezreal confirmed for one of the two solo lanes, I would assume, unless they're running Kale jungle or Ezreal jungle for whatever reason. So that's a pretty interesting adaptation here to the draft. We're not used to seeing Ezreal in a solo lane on his own. Now Camille, the final pickup here, likely going to be able to bully anybody to the Pantheon for the most part.
Yep, definitely going to be seeing how that one throws out there. I definitely think we're going to see a lot of pressure from both these teams as respectively last game, but more of it's going to be centered around the early game. You definitely have now Bishan on something that's a bit more early oriented. And of course, you're going to see a lot more movement, as I do believe Pantheon, like you said, going to be opting into the jungle this time.
I would assume that's the case, unless there's something, like I said, unless there's some very weird new Ezreal jungle build or Kale jungle that is just astonishing people. But yeah, I would expect this to be Kale or Pantheon in the jungle. And that's two good lanes that you can have Camille in, honestly. Like, either one of those is a pretty nice place to be. And Lee Sin now has gankable lanes. Last game, it was difficult for the Malphite to get into any of the solo lanes. You had the Pantheon into the Ornn, which isn't good early. And then you had Caitlyn Morgana into Xayah Recon, and then Silas into Akali, probably your best lane to gank, but certainly not a good one too. This game, you have the Ezreal and the Kale and the solo lanes able to be ganked, and Xayah Leona before 6 again, they are gankable. It's difficult. Leona is really good into a lot of these prior engaged champions, but there's some actual like flexibility there, so I want to see Bishan get really aggressive on this pick.
Yeah, definitely going to be changing up that pace. Like you said, he was bullied out last game, so that's definitely going to be a bit different here. What I really want to see is definitely this bot lane matchup. Like you said, the Noct Leona battle here is going to be a lot of goodness. Definitely going to see a bit more pressure on the Noct. Not going to be so much of a roam into the Kai'Sa scale up when you have such a good early game mitigation for Zai here through this Leona. So I definitely kind of want to see a bit of the bloodbath, not so much the farm here. It's going to come out and it's going to be really entertaining, especially if you get that level 2 power spike and you really get them caught out there. But Element 5 definitely going to be looking to respect, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see what lane matchups they want now that they see that the Ryze and the Camille come through. I would normally say Kayle is probably the more likely top laner, but Ezreal might have a better matchup into the Camille because of that arcane shift and getting away from the hook shot, being able to deny Camille that little engage. I'm just curious to see what they want. No, they're going to opt for the Kayle top lane.
Definitely survivability, though. Definitely survivability. You can pair through with the ultimate at a certain point, and then you're just going to scale up as a whole. And you get a bit of the safety pick, especially since you're in that solo lane, which I definitely think is going to be a bit faster for Kayle. Doesn't really have a bit of the good early clear when you're talking about jungle. Other than that, we do see Tilted going to be locking in that Ezreal mid up against the Ryze. Don't know if they're going to be switching that off. They definitely can flex in-game and go for the switch up, especially as they start going towards that ultimate phase. But I definitely think Ryze has a lot better wave management when it comes to these two champions.
That's correct, yeah. Ezreal can't poke him as well either, so the Kleptomancy is going to be a little bit difficult to kind of like a proc when you're close enough. Ryze is a champion that can get aggressive onto Ezreal because he has a lot of spells to use at his disposal once he hits level 3. Even without a lot of cooldown reduction, he is able to take really good trades into the likes of Ezreal without minions around. Like I said, I would like to see Ezreal probably towards the top lane. I think you can abuse a Camille a lot more. It's harder to engage into him, but Tanzo, I think he's a pretty accomplished Kayle player. If I remember, he played it last season at one point and was very, very good at it. So I'm also curious to see what Moody can do with Pantheon. Pantheon jungle isn't as popular as it was, at least a few patches ago, more close to when he came out, but it is still a very strong pick.
Yeah, definitely going to be something that's going to be respected. Like you said, though, it's going to be a bit different here, but you have to always constantly be thinking about Grand Starfall. It's that cross-map engage. I'm seeing a bit of a trade here from Recon 5. I don't think it's quite going to go through. Moody on the Kayle jungle. I think it's a little bit of a troll here, but could be. You don't know how they're thinking here in Recon 5. You know they like to pull those spicy picks from time to time.
That they do. It would be interesting to see Kayle jungle. I know before her rework, there was a time back in like season 4 or 5 where it was a legitimate thing. I just don't know that that's actually the case still, but I suppose we'll find out if Moody wants to run it. I would still assume that this Tanzo, this is just a troll, as you said, from Recon 5, probably going to put Kayle in the top lane. One important aspect is Ezreal did switch off of Cleanse. He had Cleanse for the matchup into Ryze, instead switches over to the TP. This might actually indicate that they're willing to do some lane swapping with Kayle and Ezreal, at least in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, I definitely think it's got to be that management. You can't really opt for the teleport when you're going for the aggression with the ignite. Vice versa, if you go with the teleport, vice versa, you're going to have to see that response. You give up too much pressure. But one thing I like to point out is also Nicholas White. So we're seeing 3 teleports come out from Element 5 here. Going to see that constant reignition here. Again and again from the spot lane, going to be absorbing a lot of that pressure, and definitely the cross map engages are going to be very prevalent here. So looking for a bit of that, general map pressure on the assessment here when it comes to Element 5, since they have so much potential to make the move here with all those teleports up.
Yeah, the one thing I do have to point out, though, is TPs on these champions is really good, but, when are you going to use it in a great, absolute turnaround situation? Usually teleports are best used when you're either really, really proactive and you're able to catch a laner really far up in the lane, or B, when a team fight starts and the other team just doesn't respect that your TP's coming in. I don't see that really happening. Kayle is probably going to be pushed in by Camille the majority of the game. It kind of depends on how the early laning phase goes, whether Kayle gets any sort of advantage, but usually she's probably going to be pushed in by Camille. Ezreal the same with Ryze. So how are you going to use a proactive TP unless you're really responding to an overextension by maybe Moody and one of these 2 champions? And then Xayah also with the combat summoner means Kai'Sa and Nautilus have to play a lot more defensively than you would probably want them to with a Kai'Sa and Nautilus, especially since Bishan can come down to this bottom lane. So I don't know, taking 3 TPs, it makes sense in a lot of situations. I'm just not sure that this is one of them.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a bit of the riskier. You're not really opting out for the early damage, and you're also kind of taking away from that safety in each of these lanes. But I do think it's going to pay off in the long run, especially when you start seeing Element 5 scale up. You're going to see better movement, and you're definitely going to see it capitalized, especially when you get to that mid and late game where objectives are more prevalent, and they may be running at 1-3-1 at a certain
Yeah, and especially if they win those 1v1s early, the Camille and the Rise are certainly able to take on a Kayle and an Ezreal in the side lane for the majority of the game with these TPs. So just to make sure that they can respond in either side lane to those two is pretty nice. The one thing is there's a ton of scaling on Recon 5's side. They have Kayle, they have Ezreal, they have Xayah, and then they have a front line of Pantheon and Leona, which is a difficult, heavy CC, large damage soaked bot lane to deal with, and a more standard composition with like Lee Sin and Camille to dive, and then Rise and Kai'Sa can follow up on the back line to put some more damage out. It's going to be weird to see how these two play. I think a lot of it is these junglers. Moody, his ability to get things done early, or at least track Bishan, and Bishan's ability to like gank and try to get his lanes further ahead than they have naturally is going to kind of be the dictating force for the next part of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the kind of matchup here that we'll be looking for in this jungle. But with that, as we get into the second best of one here between Recon 5 and Element 5, we are going to be going into a short spectator delay. So as we approach that, please stay tuned with us as we go through that short loading process. All right, getting back into this second game between Recon 5 versus Element 5 here on ABL. Before any action gets started, I do love to remind everyone who watches here that we always appreciate any follows, subscriptions, and donations. And if y'all click on the ads in between our stream, we also appreciate that, because I want you to know that we here on the production team are starving. And for $10.15, I can order 20 nuggets, a large fry, and a medium Coke. I'm sorry, it's so hard to say that without laughing.
And then at 10, what is it?
But I need it. Yeah, it's 10.37 if I pick up the large Coke, which is an absolute ripoff. But other than that here, a little bit of poke going out between these two teams, just like the cast here is poking my heart every time they don't pay me to get my large Coke, large fry, and 20 nugget.
Yeah, interesting. So Ezreal doesn't pick up a Sly Stack of gold, but he actually gets a Pilfered Stealth Ward, which is really, really valuable this early. Having this extra ward is a large amount of information that you wouldn't normally have, and I want to see him actually use it here. They have the vision on the blue buff. I would have liked to see him maybe put it up towards the wolf camp and see whether the pathing is going to go towards that direction and up to the top side. They can kind of figure out where the Lee Sin is leaning towards in terms of where he wants to gank first.
Or he could sell it for gold.
Well, that's also true. Very, very good decision. Yeah, very, very good point there, my friend.
Screw the vision game. Just sell that thing for gold. Get that extra tier gold. Get that back a little 5 seconds earlier.
All right, how about
We'll
this?
say the poke coming up from Trigger, though.
Okay, if anyone dies to this Lee Sin early because there wasn't vision on the map, then I'm going to yell at Tilted for not having used his ward to make sure his team does not die.
Well, speaking of jungler influence, Bashan here so forward in this top side. Gets the Q on the mid lane here. We see the flash come through. Tanzo's able to disengage pretty well there.
Yeah, Tanzo has no flash because of that early Nautilus flash into the hook, so they thought they could bait that out, but Miracle, unfortunately, not able to find his own hook shot flash also, so a little bit of a rough situation for him there. It is also nice by Tanzo just to dodge out this gank to make sure that that flash isn't as punished, or at least it's easily punished by this Camille.
Ooh, speaking of more jungler influence, Bashan pushing his way into the blue side here onto Moody. Possibly looking to kind of get in and engage here onto this blue buff. We do see a bit of rotation coming through from Miracle. Warnings are coming out. Rome also coming up from Trigger and Tilted here. Moody trying to fight this one out. Going to get stunned by Miracle here. We're going to see the shield come through. He flashes this one. Bashan comes through with the Q. Slow goes down from Miracle. Q comes back, but it's going to be the first blood for Bashan here. Now Tilted coming through with the E. We're going to see the flash over the wall from Bashan. Miracle. Ooh, we're going to see Bashan go back in with the Q. Going to get the shield on a Miracle here. Miracle goes in with the repel. Pulls through there, but nothing quite. Seething Smite coming out from Bashan here. It does look like this blue buff gonna go over in priority of Element 5, but now first we can see that little contention from Tanzo here as well. Ooh, Bashan's gonna pick it up with the Q here, but not before he gets engaged. Miracle walks out there, gets that shield dash through and through from there. Ooh, bit of poke in the bot lane as well. Stun comes through out onto Pelicans. Nicholas White and both of them actually taken really, really low on the side of Element 5 here. Nothing quite yet, though, in terms of that engagement.
I know this was mildly blown over to start with, but seriously, Tilted! He has the ward in the inventory! He dies early to Lee Sin. What the heck, man?
Okay.
Is it worth the 12 gold? Is it worth the 12 gold?
He placed it afterwards. He realized the mistake and he made the move.
Good.
Speaking of making the move, this bot lane and Moody rotating up onto Bashan here, looking for a bit of revenge. We see the root come through from Leona. Good movement. Ignite as well. Moody goes deep, and he picks off Bashan with that Q there. Little bit of the revenge on the blue side.
Yeah, pretty nice. Gets his blue buff back. Actually has a couple camps to sweep up in the meantime as well, and can walk back to this Rift Scuddler. I would assume Bashan wants to just walk down to this top side, so has priority in this mid lane, so Ryze should feel comfortable to do that. They actually are pinging onto Moody right here, so he can't be too greedy. Yeah, he's going to back out. He has the foresight to know not to go greeting for those wolves as well.
Yeah, definitely good moving here. Both of these junglers, both playing equally aggressive into this early game here. Like to see that from both of them. Bashan not quite getting swamped like last time, but not also getting too ahead, keeping the game a bit even of a pace here. Curious to see how it'll work out when they actually start making the ganks upon the laners and not on each other.
Yeah, that's correct. The thing is right now, actually, Moody has a
root onto Tilted there. Ooh, good W pairing. Actually taking Trigger down to half health, stuck in that minion wave. Phoenix Zara, oh, misses the E. Very close engage on Nicholas White there.
That he did. It's a really close bot lane. I think whichever bot lane gains priority here, I think really needs to push for this dragon. This Infernal Drake is going to help both teams so much. Pretty much everybody but the supports uses this Infernal Drake in a number of ways. So you really want to secure this for your team. Pantheon and Lee Sin, both very early game junglers as well. So their usage of this Drake is going to go up as the game goes on. And they both are aggressive enough and strong enough in this early game to be able to fight off. So I think it's bot lane priority that's really going to decide who gets this Drake.
Stun coming out from Miracle, pushing out the poke on a Tanzo there, getting him off the wave a little bit. I don't know how long you can stall that one out. I will say, though, Nicholas in this bot lane picking up the teleport as well, finally using that one out, getting that early engage back in the lane there with the pickaxe. Going to be catching up on the XP consistently.
Yeah. Bashan sitting up towards the top side of the map, probably wants to try to punish Kale once again, but Flash is down. Actually, Pantheon is in the jungle of Lee Sin at the moment. Pause timer is going to come through.
Looking like the reason going to be pulling through. ADC lag is the reason from Recon 5. Probably looking for a restart here from Sindillion here. Looking to make sure he gets a bit more of clarity here when it comes to playing it through and through. Hopefully that's not going to be taking too long.
Yeah. Now, are they talking about Sindillion or are they talking about Tilted in the mid lane?
You know what? Both are the attack damage carries here. I will say, though, Tilted, yeah, he's really playing it kind of forward here, just surviving by and by with Trigger, but he is low on the mana here. We're going to see the back come out soon here, I will say.
Yeah, do watch. So Pantheon's took the Raptor camp away. He's going to get a stun off onto Bashan, so I don't think there's much of a worry there. Rise is a little too far out.
Q comes through. Realm Warp, like you said, on this backside. Ooh, Moody gets the block here. We're going to see the Ezreal ultimate come through as Bashan goes down. Trigger's able to pick up Moody in the end, but that was a really nice play from True Shot Barrage.
Yeah, not only the True Shot Barrage, I think that whole situation was really nice. Recon 5. You want to see this? Moody is so ridiculously deep at this point. You see the pause right here. Look where he is. He's in the Raptors right now, counter jungling this away. And when we jump over to this like fight on the top side of the jungle, we see, yeah, he stuns immediately Lee Sin. He's able to get this. Rise has priority on this wave. He realm warps in to try to help support. Shield goes up to stall enough time. And then here comes that Arcane Barrage we were talking about. Just enough damage to make sure Moody can secure this kill into his opposition here. Really nice communication from Recon 5 again.
Yeah, shame Moody had to go down in the end, but it was a good play not to just give it up. I have to say, complete pressure from both of these junglers. They've made up entirely the first 7 minutes of these games.
That they have. And Bashan kind of creeping up towards the top side of the map yet again.
Ooh, yeah, stun coming through onto Tanzo. We're going to see Hextech Ultimatum. Ultimate comes down from Tanzo, saves himself a little bit of the trouble. Q misses from Bashan here. Not quite the engage you were looking for, especially with the ultimates now online.
Yeah, Tanzo does burn the ultimate. That's one tool he has that's defensive, that's down at the moment, and nothing really burned from the side of Bashan and Miracle in this one. So thankfully, they don't have to worry about that as much.
Ooh, Trigger and Tilted fighting out in the mid lane. Both of them kind of equal in damage. Moody comes up to protect the chase, so Trigger doesn't quite go in there. Ooh, Miracle gonna get another stun onto Tones here. Now, like you said, the ultimate is down. Bashan getting caught out, stuck in the minion wave, not quite able to get forward there too much. Actually taken very, very low. But we do see Tanzo's flash have to be used. So that's a lot of, like you said, defensive tools from Tanzo all pulled out here.
Yeah, nice little repeat gank here from the side of Bashan to make sure that his team has pressure. But yeah, they lose bot lane priority, and mid lane is secured here from Tilted. So they have everybody here able to take this dragon. And again, I thought this was a really big pressure point that's going to make a big difference in the outcome of this game. And it was pretty much given over freely to Recon 5 from this topside gank.
Yeah, not quite the thing you want to see there. Bashan went in, tried to get that solo kill, and like you said, loses out on the priority. Other than that, here we do see just a general reset across the map. Looking to see what they pull and pick up here. Double pickaxe start from Nicholas White here on this Kai'Sa, looking to really scale into the quick Q upgrade, I would say.
Yeah, that he does. It builds into both Storm Razor and Rage Blade, so you can kind of do both. It also builds into Infinity Edge if you want to just bypass either item. But having all this AD early alongside the Doran's Blade means you have that early Q upgrade, as you said. That's the big thing that Kai'Sa is looking for in pretty much every single game. Moody's level 6 to Bashan's level 5.
Yeah. Gosh, a lot of damage coming through there. Looking to pump it out. We see the flash come through. Has the vision. We see the Q come back over the wall. Good block from Moody here. He actually going to pick up Bashan. Now in this backline, Pelicans gets the flash kill onto Tilted there. Ooh, good root coming through from Sindillion. Back onto Trigger. Not before he gets that double kill, though. Nicholas White has to flash him out. We see the channel. That's going to be a 2 for 3 here, coming out on top here of Recon 5, actually, with a lot of that pumping onto Sindillion.
Yeah, another really aggressive invade here from the side of Recon 5, knowing Moody is stronger than Bashan at this point. I don't know how Tilted went down so fast. We actually see it on the top.
Hextech Ultimatum, like you said. Tanzo fighting this one out. He almost has ultimate up. He just has to run it just a little bit longer. He's taking incredibly low. We do see the ultimate come through, but don't think it's going to be enough. The stun like comes out there. Miracle picks that one up. Such a shame on the timing.
Yeah, it looked a little bit like Tanzo was just kind of afraid that that last auto was going to come out. I don't know that Miracle was close enough or able to close the last little bit of distance into Tanzo to make sure that comes through, especially with his W coming back up. He probably could have waited out the hook shot, then turned into the fight and probably won it from that point on, but instead opts for the early one to make sure he doesn't die to the early auto attack, and that cost him his life right there.
Ooh, big damage coming out in the mid lane here. The EQ pairings and the WQ pairings coming out from both champions respectively. But one thing I'd like to point out is the massive level difference between Moody and Bashan coming up again. Just a second ago there, it was a 2-level difference. Bashan's still sitting pre-6.
That he gets his Phoenix Aura into the mid lane, trying to stop it. Oh, nice ultimate!
Ooh, good stun there from Leon. Like you said, True Shot Barrage pairs through with the damage. Tilted picking up that kill onto Trigger. We did see a Grand Starfall coming through from Moody there to zone out Trigger a little bit, push him forward. Good movement, like you said. It's just that communication that comes through from the support jungle mid kind of communication there. Using that little zoning pressure and just making the move there. Just like you're systematically controlling where you want Trigger to go, and as a result, you secure that kill so easily.
That you do, yeah. It's a really nice play for Moody to make sure that doesn't get turned around whatsoever. And then Trigger also, he gets engaged on by Phoenix Aura. I think Phoenix Aura has had himself a really nice game. In pretty much every fight he's been in, he's been a massive contributor with these ultimates, with this CC, and protecting Sindelian as best he can. So Phoenix Aura is having himself a nice game to start off here.
Yeah, definitely good for him as a whole on this Leona. And like you said, it was a really nice pick into Pelicans. Nautilus, a lot of the supports, when you kind of see the re-engage, they don't really have that kind of aggression to go up against them as a result. And they kind of get whitewashed into this lane where they don't have much of a play up against them.
Hook.
Ooh, yeah, good hook. Sindelian getting the root there. We do see the depth charge come out. Wow. Oh. Deep engage. Good root from Sindelian to get the kill on the backline. Nicholas still chasing out Phoenix Aura here. Passive is stacking up the plasma coming through. We do see Killer Instinct. Stun comes down as well as the ultimate. Sindelian is there. Good movement from the ADC there, making his rotation. And now Pelicans is completely caught out. We see the Mastery 7 come through. That is so many gold stacks on to Sindelian there. 3 kills in a row.
Yeah, really nice little setup there from Sindelian to make sure he has the feathers in place to respond to Bashan. That huge feather storm in the recall there on does so much. You get to see that right here, I think. Yeah, the nice hook from the Nautilus doesn't really set much up, and there's 3 feathers on the ground already. There's 4, 5, and then the ultimate comes out. You see all this burst damage onto Lisa in the flash in to make sure he can't follow Leona, and then Leona gets aggressed on by Kaiser, but she's got her whole kit up right here. Watch this right now. Gets stunned, insta-locked.
Chase from Moody in the live game. Nicholas White caught out deep beneath the turrets, and Dillian picking up another kill. Trigger teleporting out with Miracle. We see Hextech ultimatum. Trigger's going to pick up that big shutdown gold. Also taking out Moody as well for the double kill. Now Tilted having to E over the wall. Good response from Element 5 to pick up kind of on that greed from Recon 5 going deep onto Nicholas White there.
Yeah, that they do. I'd like to see a replay of this one as well if possible, because it was a very nice play setup. Yeah, no replay available, but yeah, it was a nice play setup there from this side. Able to get at least a little bit of response from all this aggression. Infernal Drake will also be taken off the back end of it. The one thing is KO gets some plates on the top side, frees up a little bit of gold for Tanzo, but the Infernal Drake's absolutely worth it and a nice play to set it up.
Yeah, now it's Infernal for both teams here. I gotta say, Element 5 definitely not kind of rolling over in the same period of game 1 here. Bashan making the move here, not quite winning it out, but he's definitely giving his laners a bit of that priority. I will say, though, a lot of this pressure is coming from Trigger here on the rise. Doesn't quite have the same effect of that Akali earlier, and now he's really making the Realm Warp movements across the map as well as the teleport tries to really pick up the pace.
Yeah, he is the really strong point on the side of Element 5 right now. Oh, Moody finds somebody.
Yeah. Get a stun onto Pelican here. I think he's a little too tanky. We're going to see Depth Charge, Nicholas White and Trigger pumping out the damage here. Killer Instinct comes back. Moody's going to pick up Pelicans through and through. Oh, Realm Warp. Not quite. He definitely doesn't opt to take that one. A little bit too aggressive. You're going to need a whole team if you want to take up against a Phoenix Aura like that. But I will say, we talked about it a little bit before the game started here, but I do think the teleports are viable when you have the scaling finally coming online and you need to make the moves around the map. you pick up good amounts of golden kills like that. And that's exactly what Trigger has done, playing out to that kind of general skill plan.
That he is, and they're really punishing Moody for invading constantly over and over here. The CC comes out from Nautilus to make sure he's just shut out from continuing this fight, and Ezreal's not quite online in terms of his itemization. Trinity Force not done, and Blade of the Rune King not done. Those are really the item breakpoints that you want to look for if you are on the side of Recon 5 for this Ezreal to really start pumping out damage. He's not quite there, so they can't keep making these offensive plays and expecting Ezreal to carry fights.
Ooh, Tilted and Tanzo pressuring out Miracle here in the top lane. Good poke. Ooh, Moody going into the death bush. They're going to get rooted. He's using the shield to back off there, but he's not going to be able to pick up much as Bashan pulls that kill out. Ooh, what a shame. Kind of not really respecting the movement there into that bush.
Yeah, just no vision, really, no knowledge of where this team is. Their ward line is pushed back a lot further than it was last game, so he wasn't expecting a 3-man death rush to just walk in, and the shield's a lot of damage reflection, but it's just not enough to keep him alive right here.
And not quite. Sindelian kind of pushing out this mid lane here. Looking for Nicholas White to step up, maybe get a little bit of taste of the sunshine here from Phoenix Aura. Pelican's going to be able to spot him out with the ward there. Ooh.
Yeah, more farm being picked up here from Kai'Sa in this middle lane. She is down pretty excessively to Kai'Sa at this point, and I think we're getting to this point in the game where Gunblade's about to be completed, and then I think it's Nashor's coming next on this Kayle. And once the Nashor's is done, the Trinity Force is done, and this double AD crit items for Xayah, this team fight becomes absolutely destructive for Recon 5 if they find the CC in the right place. Even with a really strong Rise, even with a solid Lee Sin at this point, I just don't know that the damage is there to burst them out before one of these guys starts carrying fights.
I will say that does seem to be the case. One thing I want to bring up before any other action kind of breaks out into the series, currently in the group that Recon 5 and Element 5 both reside in here, they're tied for 4th place right now, both sitting respectively with, I believe, 1 win, 1 loss. Don't quote me on that, but they definitely are tied for bot. And the case is, if Recon 5 picks up both games here, they take #1 spot, but if ooh, see Phoenix Star go for the engage, gonna get a good stun on top of Bashan. They're gonna get absolutely burst down by Sindelian. Pelican's trying to make the escape here, not quite gonna hit it. Kind of whiffed his flash there over the wall. A bit of a shame. Moody goes deep under the turret with the dive here. We're gonna see the ultimate from Kayle. Double kill for Sindelian. Chase still ensuing on Makira. He gets out there. Wow, good turret juggling there with the pairing on Tanzo's ultimate. Now we're gonna see Rift Herald now making its way down this mid lane. Definitely gonna see possibly 2 turrets picked up.
Yeah, they could definitely look for at least this mid tower, and then they're going to get a full charge onto the second tower as well. Top tower is also really low if they want to make a quick rotation there. They have the rest of this team behind them. Yeah, they could just walk in this and then look towards top side. That's kind of where Tilted is leaning towards at this moment. So they get a lot of damage onto this inhibitor tower. About half of it's gone. 2 towers in the mid lane, and now going to be top tower as well. Big swing of map pressure and gold here for Recon 5 off the back of a nicely played team fight.
At Tilted, making his way up towards this top tower. Not quite there just yet. Clearing out the vision a little bit. Finally going to be pushing that wave in. That's going to be a 3-tower take off of this Rift Herald.
Yeah, really nice. That's the best kind of Rift Herald play, is one where you can get just about everything you could possibly want. Yeah, there's another tower for Ezreal in the top lane, so he should have the Trinity Force completable now. Infernal Drake's coming up too, so you're hitting these big item breakpoints. Kayle not quite on the Nashers, but you have the Trinity completed here for the Ezreal, and the Ezra's Reaver and Infinity Edge for the Xayah. You saw the damage she could put out in the last fight, and you got to be really careful. Although Ezreal and Kayle are still in the base, they could look to aggress here if they wanted to, but looks like they're going to pull off. They're not going to be decisive enough to know that, and so they're going to struggle to be able to actually commit to this dragon before the reinforcements come in.
And honestly, they don't have the vision, so they can't make the commitment per se. We do see Recon 5 definitely stepping up there, though. They are putting out that vision. They're taking control over this dragon. It is the last Infernal of the game, so they definitely want to make sure they are pulling this one in their favor, getting that kind of damage pump. Ooh. Do see possible engage. Sindelian pumping out the damage here. True-shot barrage comes out on top of Bashan. Oh, Moody's going to pick that one up. Flash comes over the wall. Nicholas White going to get caught out immaculately by Phoenix Aura's ultimate. Wow, Realm Warp saving the day there for Pelicans and Trigger.
Yeah, I think they could have definitely turned on the Tanzo there, but the rest of the fight would have been crazy. I want to see... Oh, wait, this Death Brush coming in.
Sun coming out on top of Tilted, their ultimate as well from Tanzo. We're going to see massive damage though from Tanzo now that the items have stacked up. who does not want to take that fight against Trigger, taken incredibly low, just down to half out. But now looking in the mid lane, ooh, Miracle goes deep in the back lane, gonna get stunned on to Tilted there. Ooh, double kill for Tanzo there. Trigger still chasing out Tanzo in the spot lane. Ooh, he's gonna be able to catch him. Oh, Tanzo taunting this one out, using the slow to pull his way back. Oh, a little bit of the arrogant aggression there as Recon 5 picks up that in-hit.
And another aggressive fight here, won by the side of Recon 5. On basically both ends around the Dragon, they started off, as you said, with Phoenix Aura's fantastic ultimate to set up a kill onto the Kai'Sa. And there's no consistent damage, and then over the wall goes the kill, who they could have turned on.
Ooh, Moody stun as well as Phoenix Aura with another ultimate, picking off Nicholas White. Pelicans forced to back off here. And that's another kill. Nicholas White not looking too hot right now.
Oh yeah, he's struggling a little bit. This is a very behind Kai'Sa in this game. About, what is that, about 4,000 gold behind his counterpart. That is basically unacceptable in most cases of the game. This Kai'Sa's going to struggle to put out damage no matter what. And you're seeing she's getting blown up by basically everybody. Ezreal can do it, Xayah can do it, Kayle can do it, and even the Pantheon can do it with this itemization he's gone for. So Nicholas White has to play much further back with a lot more respect. Otherwise, he's going to keep getting murked like this.
Yeah, definitely something you don't want to see. You had that early game pressure. That's how you want to play it through and through. But when you can continue to run yourself an enemy without any respective lead, you're definitely just kind of feeding them that extra gold towards their win victory. I'm sorry, win condition.
Yeah, that is the case.
Baron is up though.
Yeah. This is probably not a fight they can take, especially since Bishan just left. They have no real wards in the area either. It should be relatively quick. Here comes Xayah. Yeah, Xayah and Ezreal, if they were here, this probably would have been 10 already. But with these two, it's going to take a little longer, but no engagement can come out. They have no vision in their own jungle. It's a free Baron for Recon 5 just off the vision play alone.
They're still going to be able to pick that one up here now, looking to see how they're going to play through and through with this Baron. Mid lane's completely wide open. They do have wave priority, like I said, possibly looking to win the waves, probably 4-1.
I don't like this 4-1 with the Rise on the bottom side of the map. He's their strongest member and the only really good team fighter.
Engaged straight on the backline on top of Sindillion here. We're going to see Featherstone come deep. Nicholas White goes backline with Killer Instinct. Sindillion running away from Miracle here. Uses the Blast Cone to get away. Tilted picks up a kill onto Pelican. Miracle going deep onto Phoenix Aura with Hextech Ultimatum. Not before we see the kill come through from Tanzo as he uses the ultimate to protect them. Trigger flash forward with the Q, gets the kill on there. Backline going to be a triple kill for Tilted as he goes deep. And now, with 4 members of Recon 5 dead and the base completely wide open with all minion waves approaching here, they're going to be able to pick up a lot of damage on these turrets and possible definite inhibs. Curious to see if they're going to go for the Nexus turrets. They definitely have the opportunity. Ooh, Pelicans is up in 3 with Nicholas in 9. Looking like they're probably just going to take it and back off. Not quite. Actually, they are going for the Nexus turret. Ooh, Bishan backing off onto Pelicans there. We do see the damage lying out on these turrets pretty quick. W hits onto Tilted there. Ooh, we're going to see the hook come out from Pelicans. Root comes through. Not a full stack. Pelicans flashes deep onto Pelicans. We're going to see the ultimate True Shot Barrage goes for the kill. Miracle comes through with the repel. Realm Warp coming back line. We're going to see the pullback from Sindillion for the kill on Trigger, but not before we see both of them go down. Double Tanzo now on this Kayle, picking up the kill on the Miracle there, and Trigger going down as well with double kill. And now all that is left is this Nexus. We're going to see Grand Starfall as a triple kill comes through from Tanzo, and Recon 5 picks up game 2 in quite a fashionable way.
Yeah, that they do. It was a really competitive game from start to finish, all things said and done, but towards the end, Recon 5 just demolishing. Bot lane especially, Sindillion, Phoenix Aura just completely demolished the entire game, especially Phoenix Aura with a lot of these engages. And then that final fight, it looked like finally they had some break. Element 5 was looking to aggress onto Sindillion, almost kill him, especially with Kai'Sa ulting into the backline, but the flash from Sindillion saves him. Rise isn't able to get there fast enough to actually put out damage onto him so they can continue the fight. And then towards the end, they stalled it long enough for the teleport in from Tanzo and Moody to actually just win the game for them. Really, really well played from Recon 5.
Yeah, Recon 5 White looking really, really good as we approach kind of, I believe, the end of groups here in the next few. I'm pretty sure there's only a few games left. And with that, I believe they pushed themselves to the #1 spot in their respective group after taking 2 games off Element 5 there.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Yeah, they take. I think you said number one in this group after having split with Lucky just the other day. Getting this 2-0 puts them at the top of this group, so they're in position. You see why, like I said, their communication, their decisiveness, it's all on display here against Element 5. They look so good doing it.
Yeah, Recon 5 definitely going to be one of those teams you're going to have to watch out for as they start approaching knockout phase for ABL Worlds. They're definitely going to be one of those conditions to constantly manage. They definitely have a really strong, consistent laners, whether it be top with Tanzo, coming through the jungle with Moody, or just tilted Sindelian Phoenix. I mean, they're just all really strong picks, and they can all solo carry when they look to.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Carrying out of any position is always been like a Recon 5 specialty. We've seen it year after year, and this year is absolutely no difference. Tilted in the mid lane on the Ezreal pick, Hanzo top with this Kale pick. Both of them had a ton of kills. Sindelian Phoenix looked amazing in the bot lane. Game 1, Moody playing his heart out also on his pick in the first. Yeah, I think it was, what was it, the Elise? Elise was really good game 1 too. So again, being able to carry out of every position is a skill that not a lot of teams have.
Yeah, but with that there, Recon 5 finishing off tonight in double best-of-1 fashion, picking up both games for themselves, launching them forward in their groups against Element 5. Have to say, it's going to be exciting to see how these two teams, how Recon 5 plays into knockout phase here as we start approaching it. I will say, though, is there anything left to say, Rebel?
Not sure. Are we picking an MVP for this game?
I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone watching, but I do not quite have the time here. If you'd like to pick it out alone and finish off the cast yourself, though.
I'm good without an interview, but I got to give Phoenix Aura a lot of credit for this one. I'll give him the MVP for this game.
Yeah. Phoenix Aura definitely came through and through. But with that, I do believe our stream is finally coming to an end. I do want to thank everyone for coming out here tonight and giving us quite a nice viewership here on these two games. I will say I have been your play-by-play caster, Z.
And I've been your color Rebel Fox.
And we are all glad you're tuning in to see ABL Series Worlds 2019. Join us again as we continue to finish up groups. I believe, do we have games here tomorrow, producer? Yep, we will be having games here tomorrow, I believe, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So please stay tuned and tune in again here tomorrow. I believe I'll be casting that again as well with Rebel Fox. But thank you once again all for joining us here tonight.